Welcome back to the Think Your Better Thought, Train Your Mind for Success Deep Dive Series with yours truly, Shane Boring, the author. And today, got my handy dandy bookmark that's helped me remember chapter 13 is where we're at. I'm going to talk about deleting the negativity in our life. I like this quote, obviously like it because it's in the book. Negativity is cannibalistic. The more you feed it, the bigger and stronger it grows. Bobby Darnell said that. So let's dive right in. I have to put on the glasses. I'm trying to actually let you in on a little secret on how I'm thinking a better thought. I'm training my eyes to gain sight back that I have lost with my glasses. See how it works, but I believe it's working. I put a little castor oil on there, and then I try to work without my glasses. I haven't really worn. The only time I wear contacts is if I'm playing golf or doing a physical activity where I'll be sweating a lot, and I don't want to have to clean sweat off my glasses. But for now, I haven't quite hit my goal. I need to be about right here. I don't know you want to see my face, so we're gonna wear glasses. Okay. Now in chapter 10, just a few videos ago, I gave you an exercise where I challenged you to try and think a negative and a positive thought at exactly the same time. It didn't work. So what we learned is you can only have a negative or a positive thought. One or the other. Can't be both. And my wife actually, she did a little reading this week and learned that of the 60,000 thoughts we have a day, 80% are negative, and 90% of that 80% are repetitive thoughts program. I mean, I already knew that. It's important to recognize this stuff. The more you can monitor your thoughts, the more you can optimize them, the more you can make sure they're positively charged. The only way to succeed is to monitor your thought. This thing is always going, right? It's telling your lungs, breathe. It's telling your heart, beat. Be aware of what's going on. Driving to work. Can you remember every single detail? Driving to work. What if somebody pulls out in front of you and you're about to have a wreck? All of a sudden, your consciousness zeroes in on this potential wreck. We've got danger. You have to act quick, right? You remember that. But you might not remember the other 10 miles that you drove. You're thinking you're somewhere else. Our conscious thinking, if you measured it, like say, you take a tape measure, right? We measure information in what? What unit do we use? Bits, like a computer, right? Computer bit, computer byte, bit, whatever you want to call it. And our consciousness, they know exactly how many bits we're using. Now, your brain overall is processing, you ready for this? 11 million bits of information per second. It's a lot. Your conscious bits that you're processing maxes out at 40. So when I'm reading, I might be hitting like 30, close to 40. There's counting objects, 12. I mean, we're kind of tuned out most of the time. So what I'm giving you here is like super, like the most pure gold. And I don't think you're here. I've looked at the views. I've looked at the view count. But I did say when we started this journey, most of you won't do it, and the ones who start, you'll have a really hard time finishing because you've programmed yourself to quit. You're a quitter. You like it when I say that? Probably not. So let's think a better thought. Turn the tables on ourselves. We're not quitters. We're achievers. So when that thought pops up, you're a quitter? No, I'm an achiever. I win. I get things done. All I do is succeed. Oh, I had what you call a failure? I don't think so, buddy. I turned that failure into a lesson. It's been the most successful part of my day. All I do is succeed. I cannot be anything but successful. Works for me. Okay. I argue that people who work from the neck down, they're mentally lazy. I don't have to work too hard. I don't have to exert too much energy to think. But again, it is the hardest work I ever do. Consciously thinking, keeping the negative bullshit out, staying focused. It's not easy. It's why you have to train. Pointing your finger away from yourself is denial in its purest form. If I'm messing up, it's all on me. If I'm thinking wrong, it's all on me. You can't control what goes on in here. You can influence it, sure. You can do all kinds of things. You can try to make jokes, you can dance, you can punch me, you can hurt me, whatever. You can do all kinds of things to influence me, but I'm the one who makes the decision to think the way I think, to say, you know what? Yes, I'm going to think that I'm being hurt. Or yes, I'm going to think that I'm being screwed over. Yes, I'm going to think that everyone's after me. Or I can say, yeah, everyone may be after me, but you know what? I love it. I love it. It's awesome. I mean, is it? You could think of maybe a better way to say that. Maybe I don't love everybody being after me. How about, wow, I didn't know I was so popular. Pretty interesting. I might need to find new ways to keep a low profile. Having a little fun with this one today. We're deleting negativity. You gotta have fun. Now, let's pull out the rearview mirror. I'm gonna ask you, have you ever blamed a person, place, or thing for a problem in your life recently? And once you figure out who that person, place, or thing is, because we all do it, Joe Biden might be one, ask yourself if there is any benefit you are receiving by placing blame away from yourself. That's the question. So as I'm recording this video, it's early 2024. There's a lot of crazy political stuff. A lot of people are not happy with the government. So the government, Joe Biden, that's a great example for right now, okay? I'm helping you out if you can't think of another one. So ask yourself, we'll just use Joe. Is there any benefit I'm receiving from placing blame on Joe Biden instead of me? And substitute Joe Biden, whoever, okay? Don't judge your answers, just observe them, okay? Is there any benefit? What benefit are we receiving by placing blame on someone else besides us, on something else besides us, on somewhere besides us? Maybe you slipped and fell, right? And it was a slippery floor. So it's that floor. You're resentful at that floor. Well, what can you do to bring it back to you? You cannot try to be positive. You are either positive or you are not positive. It's one way or the other. Every positive experience adds to your life. Every negative experience subtracts from your life. If you're constantly focused on what you do not have, or if you're constantly in a negative manner, how can you reasonably expect your situation to ever improve? You're literally acting out your own hell. You're choosing it. Negativity, I argue, simply is a refusal to accept life as it is. And the remedy for negativity is so simple. You just replace it with positivity, okay? Now, sometimes, particularly if you built up a habit of being negative like I did, it can be hiding in plain sight and you don't think it's there, okay? So, I'll tell you a little story and it's in here, okay? With my advertising business, we had a client who we sent some information to, and I guess they just did not read all of it. Didn't, however it had. I know they received it, but I just don't think they read it all. And there was a big ash chewing that the client gave one of my employees, and it was totally undeserved. The ash chewing was totally undeserved. It happened, and we broke it down in our daily staff meeting. And that led to it kind of becoming a thing where we started not having the best attitude sometimes about how our clients were working with us, this one in particular. And by God, believe it or not, within about 3 months, that client decided that our services were no longer needed. So I thought letting my staff kind of blow off their feelings about this new experience was good, but it wasn't. We kept our attention on the negativity. Okay. I accept 100% of the responsibility for that because I saw it and I let it play out. I thought I was right. Today, I'm not going to do that again. I turned it into a success. It was a very successful lesson. Don't talk shit about anybody. They may be talking shit about you. Let's not compound it. I'd rather just not talk about you or them or whoever. I would rather go to my gratitude list and start thinking about the things that make me happy, that I really appreciate. But if I'm so consumed with being pissed off and I've developed such a habit of reacting to things, I'm never going to have a chance to get to my gratitude list because I'm mentally weak. I haven't done the work to protect myself for when negativity pops up, whether it's from me or from someone else, where I can say, whoop, recognize this. We need to stop right now and reset. Where's my gratitude list? Give it to me, please, because I don't want to be here anymore. You will get to that point. I promise you will if you do the work. And it's everlasting persistence. It's every day that you do the work. Negativity will only take away from you and your growth. Thankfully, deleting negativity is pretty easy. All you have to do is replace a negative thought with a positive one. What we did in that exercise from chapter 10, where we tried to think a positive and negative thought at the same time, you can apply that to every aspect of your entire life. Let's say you forget about replacing a negative thought with a positive one until the next day. You can still do it. You can still do it. And that'll keep you from going back and feeling shitty when you think about that. That'll help you let it go even quicker. Like just go change it. Just go change it. It's not going to cost you anything but a little time. All right, let's do a little chapter summary work, eh? The more you can monitor your thoughts, the more you can optimize them and make sure they are positively charged, advancing you towards your goal. The ability to actively think with focus and intention on creating your deepest desires is the hardest work on this earth. The hard work is not focusing our thoughts on what we desire. The hard work is keeping our focus. Removing thoughts of what we don't want when they enter our minds requires constant effort, constant monitoring. Okay, remember, a negative and positive thought cannot be in your mind at the same time. Random acts of kindness, those are a great way for you to act your way into better thinking. Open a door for someone. Let someone into your lane of traffic. Put up your shopping cart. Throw away all of your trash at the restaurant, right? Little things that cost nothing. Compliment someone. Those are very nice shoes. Shoes are usually pretty easy, right? Smile when people look your way. You bring someone a fresh cup of coffee. Great time of year for that. There are thousands and thousands of possibilities around you that don't cost a single penny, where you can make a positive impact, even if it's small, on someone's life. Okay? Here's our training exercise. We're going to start turning our mistakes into benefits. We're going to be grateful for them, okay? See your mistakes as instructors that have gotten you to where you need to go. Every mistake teaches you something, so be grateful that you're learning more with every mistake, and even learn to adopt the attitude of looking forward to making more mistakes. That's how we learn, really. You've never learned anything being perfect, ever. You learn from imperfection, from mistakes. The more mistakes you make, the more you learn, leading you to greater and greater wins. Okay? So the homework, we got some lines here, right? I'm going to write down 3 mistakes you regret making, and then write down a positive result that came as a result of each mistake. Okay? So you're going to write down 3 mistakes you regret making. But then I want you to go ahead and look at them again and say, well, what was the positive result that came out of this? Let's go deeper. Like that. Let's go deeper. Can you identify one of the biggest failures in your life? Do you still have thoughts where it feels like that past failure is still happening? When we have major negative experiences in our life, there are very strong emotions attached. When they are not dealt with and corrected, we get stuck in the same stuff keeps happening over and over again. Kind of like it's Groundhog Day. The potential for your body to be addicted to negative emotions was discussed earlier. When we try to change, make progress, but then slip back to our old ways or state, this is a good indication of being addicted to a negative emotion. It's even more probable when we keep the feelings of major negative experiences alive. If you have a major failure that still has a negative effect on your emotions, ask yourself if it helps you or hurts you to beat yourself up about it. Ask yourself if you were able to learn a valuable lesson. Ask yourself if you would make the same mistake again, knowing what you know now. Ask yourself how you can turn this failure into a success. When you have the emotional feelings of failure, combat them with thoughts of how you can turn that failure into a success. Even if all you are able to do is ask yourself, how can I turn this failure into a success? Do that. This simple shift in thinking about how to turn something into a benefit rather than wallowing in the misery of failure moves your thoughts and emotions to a positive state and sets you back on the right path. It is simple, 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 simple stuff. And yet, many times I would rather be angry, frustrated, anxious than free. And I've got all the tools. Did I make them? No. I learned them and I gave them to you with this book. But what I'm telling you is you're never going to get it all right. But you can get a lot better. And it'll make your life a lot better. And the only way to do that is to dive down. So if you're watching this video today, and this is the first one you've seen, I suggest you go back, start at 1, and make this a regular daily habit. You can do it, and it will change your life. All right. Next one up, we're going to be going in chapter 14, the wreckage of the future. And you know what that stands for, right? What are you worried about? If you're worried, you're thinking about the future. Where are you? You're right here. You're right now. Right now. Okay? Simple stuff that requires uncommon persistence and uncommon discipline. I'm going to train these eyes to not need these glasses or as strong of a prescription. See, I'm already throwing in a little doubt there. You got to come up. If I'm going to make my mind open to receiving good things, then I need to make sure there's not any junk in the way. Whether it's going to block it from ever getting to me in the way, or it's so crowded in here, there's no room to put it in the way. This is the book before you read the next self-help book, because you're never going to be able to put those concepts to work unless you've cleaned out this. It's all about cleaning out, detoxing from your toxic programmed bullshit that you learned in school and from people you know, like, and trust, maybe even family, from TV, from stars, from all that. Bullshit. Seek the truth. Show me the way. You can pray throughout the day too. Just, God, help me see the truth in everything I'm doing. What is the truth? Seek that. Don't seek the negative stuff. That's false. Observe it, realize it's negative, let it go. Don't judge. The world wants you to judge. The world wants you to be divided and pointing your finger at the other side, judging. You never get ahead that way. You can never think a better thought if you're judging. Let's observe. Let's have a great time. Let's delete the negativity in our life. Let's think a better thought.